Festival Living Room 2.
Well, what a morning already, Charles. How
Oh,
crazy is that?
well, it's been horrendous, really, hasn't it?
So he broke down.
I broke
Honestly,
down.
he broke down. We didn't think he was even going to get here. I mean, like, how mad is that?
Here we go. Here's me.
So I'm here and I've got like three, four different computers on, trying every different computer to get into Crowdcast. It's not working. And we've got a guest this morning as well, the lovely Katrice Horsley, whom you're all going to meet in a minute, which is good. And we did have a little plan of all the things we wanted to talk about that we've really enjoyed this week. So we're going to go ahead because we still enjoyed ourselves and it was a lot of fun. And we have got another week of really exciting events to look forward to. So what have you enjoyed this week, Charles?
I think my top event this week has to be Danya Miller's I Believe in Unicorns.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I mean, the lovely chap that does our tech was in tears. I was sobbing. It was absolutely incredible. And I think what was so special about it is it literally transported children to a theatrical. It was a pre-recorded piece that was followed by a live Q&A,
Mm-hmm.
and a teacher actually, I'm always talking about the importance of this work for our rural children.
Yes.
A teacher emailed me from London
Yeah.
saying this, thank you so much for this. It really showed our children high quality values. And that was in London.
Crikey.
So, I mean, that was absolutely incredible and is still on catch up actually
Yeah.
this morning. So do watch that. It's I Believe in Unicorns by Michael Morpurgo, brought to life by Danya Miller, we've got back this week.
Yeah.
She's coming back with Kika's birthday and is an absolutely stunning performer. So I would highly recommend watching that. What about you? What have
Well,
you enjoyed?
I really, really enjoyed the Alan
I knew
Gardner.
you were going to say that.
Well,
Yeah.
apart from the technical issues,
We seem to be having a lot of technical issues at the moment, don't we?
apart from the technical issues, I thought it was just really wonderful. First of all, the film is fantastic. It was
Yeah, the
really,
film was
it's
beautiful.
moving. The book is extraordinary,
Mm.
and I had the privilege, of course, of spending a good 40 minutes, 45 minutes in the green room with Elizabeth and Kevin and Tim, talking about the book and the film, and my admitting the fact that you know I don't fully understand the book. And I said, well, I've got a confession. I don't really fully understand it. And I said to Tim, and he's Dr. Tim, So, and he said,
He's
well, I
clever.
don't. He's clever. And he said, no, I don't fully understand it either. And I thought, oh, I don't feel so stupid then. And Kevin was talking about how, you know, this we need to make these things, accessible for the intelligent child in terms of the conversation, you know. And I said, well, I'm that child because I can ask those questions if you talk about things I don't understand because,
Hello, no, I don't
I'm
understand.
pea-brained.
But they did say, I mean, I can't remember who said it last night in the conversation. I think Kevin said to Elizabeth, this is quite a hard book to grasp.
It is.
And her response, though, was, it's not hard. Just stop thinking about it,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And it was along those lines. And I thought that was a really interesting response because I think we all have a kind of a need and a feeling to want to grasp with the really more challenging things. And actually, the message that came through from her to me last night was relax, calm down, and just let it come to you. So maybe a second read.
Well, I've been listening to it and I will listen to it again. And it is, I do find that, first of all, I like being told stories. I like reading, but I really like being told stories
Listening.
and listening. That's my thing. That's what makes me happy. So I go to bed with my headphones. And I just feel it's like being a child again and I can just listen. And the narration on the audiobook is fantastic. Even just those opening lines and the cry of the rag and bone man, and it just brings up images and pictures, and it just brought up lots of things for me. And in the conversation we were talking about kind of the mundane and the sacred and old things, and it reminded me a lot as well of the stories that are hidden within the Bill Mitchell archive, that we've got, and that why these stories and working with these stories is so important.
Mm.
Mm.
And then, yeah, and I think the history and the heritage there really shone through, and I think that's what I liked so much about the film.
Yeah.
Because actually, when you were just talking, I was thinking, my experience of the festival so far, a lot of it, I have actually closed my eyes and just listened. I haven't
Mm,
actually engaged with the visual side of it because I
mm,
think just the experience of listening is the thing that I enjoy most about storytelling.
mm.
But I have to say, the film last night I thought was so beautiful because it was we were transported to Blackburn. It was
Yeah.
and it's somewhere that I was looking on the website. I was like, I must visit. It's not that far away from us
Mhm.
in Cheshire. Talking about audio, what about the Odyssey? Have you been listening
Oh
every
my
night to our
goodness.
book at
I
bedtime?
certainly have. And I mean, John Buckeridge is just, I mean, I was talking to my brother about it last night, and he was saying that man, he's just a genius.
Yeah.
Basically, he's just a certified genius because it is just incredible. It really is amazing. And he was
Mm,
talking as well about John's work as well on Storyversity and the course that he's just he is so amazing. It's just
mm,
incredible.
he is.
Um, and what I found so wonderful about the Odyssey is actually it's been brought to life for me. It's a big, long, complicated story. Let's face it.
It is, yeah,
That
it
we're all supposed to know, and then we all go, "What?"
is.
Or maybe it's because it's me and I'm not so clever. Um, but he just brings things to life in a really kind of contemporary way, and
Mm,
yet the sense of the epic is there, and I'm gripped by the story. And there's me and Graham sitting there listening every night, and then we finish the end and we look at each other and go, "Ooh, cliffhanger! Have to wait for the next one." And it's just like, oh, come on, we've got to listen, we've got to listen. It's just,
yeah.
no, it's really
I
good.
think I think that's a really interesting point about John Buckridge. And I don't know, I hope he's not. I was talking to my brother about the festival, who's 18,
Yeah,
and to be honest, a lot of it's too highbrow for him. He thinks it's not for him. So I've been
yeah,
trying to challenge that. And one of the things he has been listening to is the Odyssey.
gosh,
And I
yeah,
feel like John is A, he's like a positive role model.
yeah,
B, he does make that work a lot. It's very contemporary and it feels relevant. So he's
yeah,
really,
yeah,
and I think what you've just said there is really important. It's something we all should know. But
yeah,
why do we not all know it? Because maybe it's not that accessible. But I think what John's done has made it accessible.
absolutely,
Um,
really, yeah.
well, we've got a fantastic performer joining us this week in Katrice
We
Horsley,
do.
haven't
We're going
we?
to bring her to the digital
Should we
stage.
bring her on?
Yeah, I'm going to bring her to the digital stage if I can get the computer to work. Huh? And there, by magic, is Catrice. How fantastic to see you, Catrice. But we're also going to
I've just
unmute you.
unmuted myself.
Oh, marvelous.
I take ownership of my own voice.
Well, Catrice, we're really looking forward to having you at the festival. It's the first time that we've been wanting to work with you for years, and this is the first time that it's actually happened, and that's totally brilliant.
And that's in part because you're based where, Katrice?
Borås in Sweden. Sometimes the emphasis is on the first syllable, bor. It's quite small. There's not much. But Boros, yeah.
And I mean, and we've said this before, but that's one of the really exciting things for us about going digital is that we can welcome you. You know, really. And I know you've been enjoying some of the festival yourself. You've been at a couple of events. What
I
have you
have.
enjoyed so far, Katrice?
Oh, Alan last night, and not just Alan, but the whole discussion afterwards. And my husband and I were sitting on the sofa, and we had it because we have Apple TV, so we had it on the big screen. Sita, you were on the big screen for us on the big TV. It was great. But it was this overwhelming gratitude at being able to be part of, because of course you could write your questions as well, be part of a conversation with people who you have admired and
Mm,
whose worlds you have immersed yourself in.
mm.
It was overwhelmingly emotional in a way, that connection. And that is one of the things I've been so grateful for during lockdown, is the fact that it is a screen, it is through the glass screen, but gosh, there's such connections being made.
There's
Yeah.
been quite a few comments about that, about digital format. And I can't remember when it was people were talking about it, and it came to me. I was like, well, actually, I've been watching, listening, discussing with people, and one of the things that makes me know that this format works is that on several occasions, I've been teary, I've had goosebumps, and that's how we know that this still works, because there is still a connection there. We're all still human beings talking, discussing, just in a different format.
I think it's to do with, because I'm a bit of a weeper when it comes to TV programs and things. I used to cry terribly at Lassie movies. It was like post-traumatic Lassie disorder. I had a lot of therapy to recover from those movies. But for me, any authentic emotional engagement that you witness, you will be moved by. And it doesn't matter whether it's from behind a screen or in front of a screen. The authenticity of the emotion will carry itself through whatever medium, because you can read a book and cry. You can watch a piece of dance and be overwhelmed. And that, out in the theatre, on the stage, a distance from you, with no words possibly. So it's the authenticity, I feel, of the emotion that carries and vibrates with us on a marrow memory level.
Mm.
There is, but I think that's very true. And there's been, what's actually surprised me this time, we've had several very successful meetings in the bar after the show, and this year it's been much more successful actually than last year. We've had sort of 8 to 12 people quite often in the bar afterwards, and the conversations are really, really interesting. And they are, a group of people from sometimes all over the world, sometimes different parts of the country, sharing their experiences, saying what they felt, they thought, whatever. And I've found it so nourishing being able to also have that contact. And there is I think what we need more of is contact, isn't it? It's not content, it's contact.
Contact, yeah. It reminds me of the Theatre of War productions and what they say. And Theatre of War, for people who don't know it, they do a lot of the Greek epics, and you have very well-known actors and actresses playing the parts. It's digital, it used to be live. And then there's discussions afterwards, and they quite often have performed stuff in prisons and with groups that might be peripheral groups to mainstream society. And the most impactful stuff happens in the dialogue afterwards, and how people make sense of and connect to the material. And as you say, it is the connection and not the content that quite often is the thing that changes some of our perspectives or challenges, makes us curious, opens doors.
So, Katrice,
Yes.
what happens when we step off the path into the throbbing dark belly of the fairy tale forest, and what can we find there that will help us in this present time?
Oh, good question.
I would just like to admit that is actually a tweet from Katrice that I just thought was so fabulous and poetic that I was going to pretend it was a question from me. But Katrice, over to you. I'm going to pose your tweet back to you as a question.
Thank you. The whole show is all about the liminal space between kind of desire and duty, I think. What's expected of us in polite society, which is a structural construct, a social construct, and what is it that's throbbing inside us, what's yearning and churning and turning deep in our psyches that we feel we need to control, and how much do we control that and how much do we not? And I know that the theme of the festival is about almost, what can fairy tales give us now? What is it? What is the happy ever after? What can we take from them? And for me, there's so much. I love one of the characters in the show. I love her. She's so old, she has a pubic comb over. I love her. And, just love her. She's raucous. Based on my mum and my great auntie. Hilarious women. And she talks about fairy tales give us the most truth about what it is to be human, because they offer us the binary. And as children, that's how we work. You don't have a 3-year-old coming in saying, I feel a bit ambivalent today towards you. A 3-year-old comes in and either loves you or hates you, and it's great or it's shit, or, you know, it's like, it's all the extremes. There's no grey area in the middle because they haven't had enough experiences to compare and contrast. Yeah. And then as we get older and return to stories and fairy tales, we realize that it's not that polarity, that it's always somewhere in the middle. And for me, one of the things that certainly COVID has taught me is the fact that if we're hoping, and everybody says we should have hope, if we're hoping for a happy ever after, perhaps that's a mistake. If we're hoping to stay or find resources to stay with the uncertainty of not knowing what the end will be, I think that might be a better thing. So the story is very much focused on that liminal space of uncertainty and that thick fur in between duty and desire that we push ourselves through every day. We almost feel it on our skins. Should I do this or should I do that? And that idea of the choice, do I stay on the path or do I step off it, is what keeps us going in a way, because it is a choice. I think, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does beautifully.
Fantastic. I think we're all really looking forward to that. And when are we going to be seeing that?
We're seeing that a week today, 7 p.m. next Saturday. So
my husband is petrified because it's very much a kind of homage to Angela Carter. And I am literally, there's a big silver birch tree that got blown down some months ago. But you've got all this white and then all this dark branches off the end. And I'm like, I'm going to cut down a couple of branches, drag it up into the flat, stick it in the spare room, hang weird stuff off it for the set. And he's like, what, hold on. Hold on here, hold on. Have we discussed
we can totally relate to this kind of thing with our own partners. You know, we're always destroying our cars or our homes, or, you know, my spare bedroom's currently out of bounds. I was told I wasn't allowed to ruin the living room for a month.
So, for at least a month.
Yeah. I know, it's like, and sometimes, you know, Graham will come and go, where's so-and-so? And I go, oh, it's in the joinery, it's not part of the set. So, well, where's my stuff just goes?
Well, it's so exciting, Katrice. And I know when we were talking about it, you were talking about how you were sort of playing around with the piece for Yorkshire Festival Story.
Yes, I am. I've never performed it. This is a whole new piece that I've never performed before, because I've incorporated different stuff in the main narrative. So it's never been told before in the way that I'm telling it at all.
So a world premiere.
A world premiere from Sweden. Så
Fantastic. Yeah,
jag ska bara prata svenska. Nej, jag ska inte. I won't do it in Swedish.
Well, maybe we do a bit of both, you never know.
Sometimes my brain, I've got the menopausal brain, so sometimes I don't know whether it is like Swedish or English I'm speaking, or sense.
Well, you'll have to come and join us, ladies and gentlemen, to find out what she does. Fantastic. And so, Katrice, we really are looking forward to seeing you next week. Are there any final remarks you would like to say about your show? Any final last sell? Why should people come and see it?
Because I think it does resonate with what it is to be human in this time. And also, if you like salacious old women, then there's a character in there who you will love. And she does use one swear word, warning alert.
Right, fabulous. Well, we will see you next Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us in our chaotic living room.
Right. Thank you.
Oh, I'm really excited about that one.
I am very much.
And what else are you excited about? And we've got a very exciting event this evening.
Yes, we do indeed, because we've got Jack Sipes, Christina Balakea, I hope I pronounced that correctly, and Dame Marina Warner,
yes,
discussing our festival theme. And tomorrow evening we've got the conversation with Angus Fletcher about Wonderworks, this new book, which is looking at, neuroscience and narrative, and bringing these two things together. So we've got an awful lot to fill ourselves with. I'm
We
feeling
absolutely
slightly
do.
overwhelmed, I have to confess, Charles. Oh my God, all these very clever people. But it's great. It's great, and it's so fantastic that we're bringing all these people from different parts of the world. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what's so fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, that's one of the things that you've just hit on there. We're bringing all of these really clever people, and it's so much easier because we can just pull them in from America, New Zealand,
South
Switzerland.
Africa, Hawaii,
It's great, isn't
all
it?
over.
It's so exciting. And there's
Yeah.
loads of other stuff happening as well. Sort of not our big headliners, but we've still got lots of masterclasses that are taking place, haven't we? We've got
Yep.
Tamar's workshop this afternoon,
Yep.
which I think, even though I haven't checked this morning with the car breaking down and everything, I think there's still a couple of places
I
left.
think there's a couple of places left, yes, for
Yep.
that one.
So that's
Yes.
storytelling
For
for
teachers.
teachers.
Yep.
And on Tuesday, we have a very special event as we begin to talk about Storyversity.
That's right. So Tuesday evening, the event Learn to Tell a Story. So that's looking at, how we learn to tell stories. So often people feel like that they can't tell stories, but actually we all can. And Storyversity has been a big project, which has been a long time in the gestation and
A
the
very
making.
long time.
And we will be launching it on Tuesday evening. And we describe it as, master the art of storytelling so you can make a difference. It's a subscription platform. So you can either pay, it's only £12.50 a month if you pay annually, £150 a year, or if you're paying monthly, it would be £18. And there's loads of courses there. So there's John Buckridge is doing a course we just talked about. We've got Caroline Parker doing one about gesture. Then Tamar is doing one about storytelling for teachers. And we've got Barbara Hausman, who's also doing a masterclass next
She's
week.
doing next weekend.
Next weekend, and she's doing one about voice training, vocal training. So there's quite a mixture. There's certainly something for everyone, and there's new courses coming in all the time.
And you've got a couple of artists joining you for that event, haven't you?
I do, because we've got Dominic Kelly, who's recorded a course for us called Storytelling for Parents, but that's parents and grandparents. And Mara Menzies, who's done a course for us, which is in edit at the moment. And that's going to be storytelling for the very young. So that's really, your little ones, your under fives kind of thing. And John Buckridge is going to be joining us. So we're going to be talking about the processes that we went through. We're going to be sharing some clips and talking about the importance of training and the ability to tell stories, not just if you want to perform as a performance storyteller, but all of us need those skills to be able to communicate our story, whether it's at work, in business, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a grandparent, whether you're sitting in front of an employer for a possible job, is that you want to be able to communicate your story in the most effective and the best possible way. And Storyversity will be a way to help you to do that.
Do join us for that Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. I think one of the really exciting things about that is we'll be releasing lots of new content, lots of new storytelling courses, and as Sita has touched upon, there are plenty more in the pipeline. So those who sign up as members for that will be able to access all of those courses as and when they appear. But the other brilliant thing about Storyversity for me is that it's self-guided content that you can learn, you can fit around your own life, your own time frames, but also there will be a live element to it as well. So we're going to have weekly live meetups with the storytellers, with us, and it will just be that'll be a really good opportunity for you to ask questions and extend the learning and join a community of like-minded people who are really interested in developing their storytelling skills. So don't miss that event. And then this week there's plenty coming up. Sita, what else are you looking forward to? week if we
Well,
start looking towards the end of the
so
week?
the end of the week, the last event is Rethinking Fairy Tales, which seems to have caused a little bit of eruption
Yeah,
on social media.
it does.
I wasn't expecting that at all. It's really looking about the role of women in fairy tales, but you know, whether we need to rethink them or not, it's just asking the question. But it seems to have got a lot of people's backs off.
It does. It certainly has. And, you know, hopefully we can have a really nice, honest discussion.
Exactly.
I think the people that have been slightly angsty about it might not actually join us, which is a shame because we would be really happy for kind of
Yeah,
open dialogue about it,
exactly.
as long as everybody respects each other and gives each other space to share and talk. That's fine, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then we've got some other storytellers as well this week.
Yeah, we've got lots of
Yeah,
storytellers. We've got Gowrie, we've got Scholar story.
yeah,
So it's a real full week of sort of fairy tales this week, isn't it?
yeah.
And basically everything is happening at 7 o'clock every single evening, but there's plenty more going on throughout the day. And there's lots of children's work this week, isn't there?
Yep.
Which we're really excited about. We've got the Lost Happy Endings taking place with Ballet Laurent, and that is written by the fabulous Caroline Duffy, who I think probably everybody knows, and it's narrated by Joanna Lumley. So that is really
Very
exciting,
exciting.
and that's pre-recorded again, but beautifully, beautifully shot. And we will be joined by Liv Laurent, who is the artistic director at Ballet Laurent, and also, oh, his name has slipped my mind, but the choreographer of the show as well for a Q&A with the children afterwards. So
Fantastic.
that's really exciting,
Yep.
isn't it?
And let's not forget Feast.
Yeah, we've got Feast this
Feast,
week.
which is a chance for artists to meet up. So we've got we run regular Feast events, which is a networking group for artists, storytellers, visual artists, you know, people coming together, just meeting others. And every so often we have a Feast commission. And in fact, we're also going to be sharing a Feast commission, the kind of early workings from two people who met on Zoom at Feast, who then won one of our awards, a grant to explore their ideas. So it's pretty relaxed,
Yeah, it's
and
really informal.
and we have you have the chance to meet different people, and there's a like a conversation menu. It's slightly quirky, typical Settle Stories, slightly quirky way of doing things, but very relaxed and a lot of fun, and it's a real chance to meet others.
I think the conversation menu as well. What I love about Feast is choose to follow the conversation menu. It's a real way of getting to know somebody, and you've kind of got permission to know them in
Yeah.
quite a deep, intimate way, which is
Yes.
quite special. So yeah, do join us for that. That's on Tuesday, the 23rd at 2:30. But I think we've pretty much run out of time.
I think we've run out of time. Thank you all very much. Thank you for watching and bearing with us through the technical challenges today. And we look forward to seeing you at loads more events over the coming week. So stay involved, and
We'll see you soon.
see you soon.
Take care, folks. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.